This is part 2 of our podcast that is rated R
for romance.
Welcome back, part
Yes.
2, episode 14 of our podcast here, talking once again about romance.
That's right.
Episode 13, we talked about what romance is. Episode 14, we're talking about what it isn't.
Is not.
What
Yes.
it is not. And we're going to
Yes.
talk about some of the myths that people have about romance, and they're actually probably pretty funny to some degree, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so let's talk about this idea that because we want to help our listeners, we want to help you in this area to experience all that they should be experiencing in the area of romance, but they can't experience it if they have unrealistic expectations.
That's right.
And when we have unrealistic expectations, we sabotage what romance is actually intended to be. It's intended to connect us more and deeper. Instead, we sabotage it and we end up being disconnected. So,
That's right.
lesson number one of what romance is not.
It's not unrealistic expectations.
It's not unrealistic expectations.
It's not other people's social media highlight reels. It's really not. And how does that work? Well, I mean, when you're scrolling, doing the doom scroll, and you see maybe a girlfriend of yours whose husband, treated her
Girlfriend of yours.
Yes.
Right, okay. That didn't come out right.
Treated.
We believe in monogamous marriage between a man and a
Yes.
woman. Okay.
So you're doing the doom scroll. You're trying to figure out what everybody's up to, what's everybody doing, and all that stuff.
Let's give this girlfriend a name, Becky.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have
Yeah.
a girlfriend named Becky, but
That's why we're giving her that name.
Yeah.
That way no one can think it's me.
you're not Becky.
All right.
So, okay, and then you realize, oh, well, they got to do this,
Right.
and that looked fun.
Not they, Becky.
Yeah, Becky.
Right, okay.
Becky's husband took her out to fine dining, where there was low lighting candles. There was the whole thing.
Yep.
She got roses.
Yep.
He pulled up in his fancy car, and she got to go shopping and got a couple Louis Vuittons and all kinds of stuff. I mean, Becky is living the high
Wow.
life.
That definitely sounds like unrealistic expectations.
And so when you're looking
Or we
at
need to be
Becky,
friends with Dan and Becky.
So when you're looking at that, you realize, dang, I wish that was me.
Yep.
And you go through this envious kind of process, and you're all of a sudden mad at your husband because your husband isn't doing that for you. Well, no one has that kind of money that Becky has.
But
First
let's
of
also
all,
talk about the fight that Becky had with her husband before she posted that.
yeah,
You're on a 30-day streak of no arguments.
Exactly.
Just you're loving each other. Y'all had a nice dinner at
Right.
Olive Garden.
right.
I mean, you just had a great
It's not
time.
Del Frisco's. It's
No,
Olive
I
Garden.
mean, it's there's not a whole lot going on your social media feed.
Yeah.
But you didn't fight before you posted the pictures. You actually said you loved each other.
Yeah.
And so it's that unrealistic expectation
Exactly.
of look what everyone else is
Or
experiencing.
maybe, here's the other thing. Maybe Becky's husband has been working a lot, and Becky barely even sees her husband.
Yep.
He barely even, acknowledges her half the time.
Yeah,
and so
you-
the one time he did, she
looked real
posted
good.
about
Uh-huh.
it. And then you saw that highlight, and you're like, man, Becky is living the life.
Yep.
When really and truly, Becky cries herself to sleep every night because her husband ain't acknowledging her.
Right. Becky is fictional.
It is.
I mean,
Totally
Becky's not
made up.
fictional, but we
Yeah.
don't know a Becky.
But
So-
I'm sure there are some Beckys out there.
Right. If your name is Becky
You
and this is your story, we're praying for you. Sounds sad, but
Yeah. I
But
mean, well, no.
Dan was gone for a month
Right.
on a job. Becky didn't see Dan. Your husband has came home every single day for 30 days. You've had
Yeah.
conversation and connection, and you're off on this dream
Yes.
that is nice if you can provide that. I mean, if people do have that type of money, we're not against that, but
No.
we're just saying if that's not your story, be happy with your story where you're
Because most
at.
of the time it's not. And it's unrealistic
That's right.
expectations. And you're just living in the highlight reel of somebody's life. But really and truly behind the highlight reel, it could be something just not worth envying.
Right.
You
Yep,
know?
Yep.
And so you have to understand that people are going to post their best moments
Right.
in life.
Right.
As we should,
Yeah.
you know?
Yep.
But
Let's talk about, before we move on from this, I want to talk about movie culture. Our conversation
culture,
prior to this was funny. Movie culture helps set an unrealistic expectation.
we're talking about rom-coms.
Right.
We're talking about
Romantic films.
romantic films.
And-
Every husband's nightmare probably. I mean, but let's be honest, is it every husband's nightmare because of the unrealistic expectations that his wife is going to put on him after watching that movie?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good question.
In the movie, the romantic movies have a script that someone else wrote.
Yes.
Have actors playing parts. That's the key. They're acting. They're getting paid to do that. It's cut scene 1, cut scene 2. That
Right.
wasn't sappy enough. That wasn't good enough. The
Right.
camera angle, the lighting, the mood didn't feel right.
And when
And
it's
so-
all pieced together, it's meant to put this emotional draw on you
Yet,
to suck you in.
that's a romantic film. Then we got something called romantic comedies. These movies are placed in the comedy section instead of the romantic section. But the funny thing that I noticed about this is when you're watching a romantic comedy, what makes it funny is it's geared and designed to actually portray real life.
Right. Yeah.
And so you are, kissing each other in the living room and your kids are saying, ew, gross.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
you with the door locked and shut in the bedroom and, the kids are knocking and banging on the door. Mom, Dad, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And we call that romantic comedies and we call the other one a romantic movie, yet the comedy is the one that's most realistic. That's
Yeah.
just the reality. So the comedy is the expectation that most of us are probably going
Yes.
to live in.
Yeah.
The other one is something that is hyper produced to make you feel a certain way. But and it's not like it's all bad. I mean, it's trying to get you to feel a certain way.
Right.
And those feelings aren't all bad, but it's just primarily mostly unrealistic.
That's right.
That's
That's
the only
right.
problem.
Yeah. So a healthy marriage doesn't always feel exciting. Sometimes it just feels peaceful. Like taking the moments of just solitude on the back porch.
Right.
That's peaceful. Taking a walk. That's peaceful. Like they're not super exciting moments in your life. It's just a small moment that's also a peaceful
Right.
one.
Where you're connecting.
And that's romantic.
Right.
That's romance. Romance is not mind reading. This is a good one.
Yes, this is.
This is a good one because most couples, most married couples, they have a hard time communicating anyways. And so when it comes to communicating what you like or prefer romantically, that's never a conversation.
Right.
Most of the time we can't even communicate what we're going to have for dinner. Much less communicate what speaks to me in the romance department.
Right. And probably, I mean, I can see where this goes for men and women, but we would probably assume most women would use this term, maybe when they're talking to their friends, well, he should just know.
Yes.
Which,
Also unrealistic. Yeah.
if we go back to the last episode,
Yes.
should he just know if he's paying attention? If he's paying attention, intentionally paying attention to you, there's a degree that he should know. But let's just say he doesn't. So help him to know.
Right.
Like, let your unspoken expectations be heard, because
Yes.
if you do not give them a voice,
Yes.
then you cannot expect that spouse to be able to meet that expectation in the area of romance.
That's
so we've
right.
got to communicate.
Communication matters.
It's got to be done from you. It's got to be, again, it's got to be realistic.
And what is actually wrong with communicating to your spouse? Hey, I love it when you tell me I love you throughout the day several times a day. Instead of just assuming your spouse just loves you.
Right.
I mean, of course, there is some of that we're just going to assume that, yes, they do. But it's romantic to hear that,
Right.
Also, like, if your thing is like, I would like you to just, a nice bubble bath or, just something like that. Small gestures throughout the day. I love flowers. So maybe just if your wife loves flowers, get her some roses for, we talked about that in the earlier podcast, just because gestures. It's not hard. I think we make it hard because we don't know.
Right.
It's things we don't know.
And
But you can't assume. It's so unfair for a wife to put those expectations on her husband when they truly just don't, they're not mind readers,
so
And so it's not fair to him. But what about if you've over communicated and you're still not seeing what you've communicated?
if you've over communicated and you're still not seeing it, then I think that's the moment where you've got to just be clear once again. Watch tone. Let's go back to tone, right? If your goal is to be heard, getting an attitude, having an elevated tone, or using the wrong, words is not going to help. So you've got to just communicate once again, and maybe the words that have to come out of your mouth. Do you understand the words that come out of my mouth?
Yeah.
Is this: I've told you this over and over again.
Right.
Are you listening?
Right.
This is what I want. This is what
I need. Yeah. To feel loved.
How can we work together on this? And maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah.
How can we work together? Instead of saying, why aren't you doing this for me, to me?
Yeah.
How can we work together? Is there something I can do to help?
Exactly. So I was going to say that maybe also there's nothing wrong with the other spouse taking initiative in that area to just help. So if planning dates, your spouse doesn't usually like to do or doesn't do or whatever, you plan the date. And then you let the spouse know, hey, I've got a movie for us to go see at, this time, or
Right.
I've made a reservation at this restaurant, or I've made it to where the kids can have a babysitter on this day so we can go on a walk or
Right,
whatever. Like,
right.
it's okay for, like, it doesn't have to just be on the shoulder of one spouse, Both spouses are
Teamwork.
working together.
That's
Yes,
right,
teamwork.
teamwork.
We also talked about that.
Because the reality is, unspoken expectations create silent resentment. That's what happens. If we do not, continue to voice that, I think the key is just voicing it in the appropriate way, manner, tone, timing. All that matters. Okay, number 3. Romance is not only physical.
Yes.
Now, keyword here, it's not only physical. That's not saying, gentlemen, that
I knew you were gonna find
romance cannot be physical. It's that it's not only physical. I think that's the guy's biggest hang up. If there's intimacy, sexual intimacy, then we've been romantic.
Or if your spouse is putting on her makeup and you walk by and you slap her on her behind, they think, oh, that was so romantic. But the wife is thinking, oh my gosh, that's not you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it could just, what romance in your mind looks different than romance in your wife's mind.
Right.
Most of the time.
So a lot of times,
your wife might think that's romantic.
Right.
And if that's the case, then run with that.
yes, go ahead. Yes.
But I'm just saying it's not always physical.
Right.
Right?
Right. I'm sorry. There's songs coming into my head that I'm having to refrain from sharing while we're talking about this. So let's just say that what we've got to understand, guys, is that sexual affection is what a lot of ladies are looking for.
Yes.
And so this is what I've heard, that men are like microwaves and women are like crock pots.
Oh, wow.
And so for a man, what he's got to understand is the non-sexual affection throughout the day is warming your wife up
Yes.
to the
Get to
possible
the
physical, you know? But it doesn't always have to be physical. Yes, I mean, the movies, yeah, it's always physical. No, it's not. Let's just get it out
Yeah.
there. It's not always physical. But it's the act of consistently pursuing
Yes.
and doing these things. So emotional intimacy, non-sexual affection, and emotional safety. Those are
Yes.
things that we've got to include in the romance department. And for guys, they've got to understand the importance of that for their wife.
And
it's
none of
not
those are
always
physical.
physical. Nope.
How emotional connection impacts physical connection. And we talked about that because if, say, for instance, to your crock pot, you know, your crock pot is set on low and
Low
slow.
and slow.
So if you are making these little sweet gestures throughout the day, you know, start in the morning, and then by the time you see your spouse walk through the front door, are you going to be angry with them? No. Are you going to
Might have
you're
them
going to be
butterflies
like,
we were
oh
talking
my
about."
goodness, I could not wait for you to get home, but in a good way,
Right.
you know?
Instead of butterflies, it's a honeybee.
Exactly.
A swarm of honeybees going to attack.
And so then that will result into something physical, which
Right.
is what you want.
Right.
You know? And then so both spouses
That's right.
are pleased and
Right.
happy.
This is not about physical, so let's move on.
Okay.
Romance is not only built on chemistry.
That's right.
That's a big one. So the chemistry, hopefully,
Yeah.
right? Hopefully that's what you had. That's what attracted you, is you realized we have some chemistry.
That's right.
We go good together. Despite our differences, there's chemistry. We go good together. But the problem is, chemistry can fade without intentionality. It just can happen.
Yeah.
And that's how you get people who were madly in love years, 1 through 10, and years 10 through 20, they can't stand each other.
That's right.
And so they've been married for 20 years, and all of a sudden they get a divorce, or they're, ranting and raving to their, friends about each other in a bad way. And it's like, what happened? Well, what happened was, because there wasn't intentionality, the romance starts to fade, and the connection starts to fade, and the emotional thing that did tie you together starts to come unraveled.
That's right.
And now we're just two different people living on two different planets, sharing a
That's
house. That's
right.
it. That's all it is.
That's
and so
right.
we got to understand that chemistry can fade when we're not intentional.
Attraction grows through connection. Attraction
That's right.
grows through connection.
Yeah. And the emotional connection. You should, after connecting with your spouse in any way, it should deepen the relationship. That connection should be stronger.
That's right.
And then consistency matters more than intensity.
Intensity, yeah. That's so true.
We had someone tell us years ago in the area of romance that it's not always quantity, but quality. And so in the same way, it's not always intensity, it's consistency. Just every day, just instead of making small remarks that repel each other, turn each other off, make small gestures and remarks that are kind and caring and thoughtful.
That's
I
right.
don't know, get creative. I mean, this isn't nothing new. Get up and put sticky notes all over the house, for your spouse, telling
Yeah.
them all the reasons you love them. I mean, or slip a note in his lunch so that when he opens his lunch, whatever it might be, just
But
get
in order
creative.
to make that happen, you have to be intentional.
That's right, intentional.
And you have to prioritize your time.
Yep.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Long-term romance is built more on consistency than chemistry. That's what we're trying to say.
Exactly.
The chemistry can fade. It doesn't have to. I mean, side note, I don't know. I think our chemistry has remained. I don't know.
Yeah.
You tell me. You be
Yes.
honest. You be
Okay.
honest.
Yes, but we've had to work
Yeah.
hard. We've had to work hard. After 26 years, I mean, all fluff aside, it may look like, that they have it all together, but marriage is work. And those things that we know were shortcomings in our marriage, we worked on those. And so we continue to prioritize each other. We continue to make, those small gestures in our marriage. We continue to think about what one another would appreciate or like instead of, just disconnecting and withdrawing from each other.
Right.
But that's not to say that you don't have those small, disagreements or whatever. You may not see eye to eye
Right.
all the time. But as long as you come back together and be consistent, and I think that builds the chemistry.
Right.
But yes, to answer your question, we absolutely have chemistry.
That's right.
We absolutely
We ain't
do.
lost a bit.
Nope.
We got a podcast to finish.
Yeah.
Romance dies in neglect, not usually catastrophe. That's what most people think. It just blew up all of a sudden. No, there was distraction. One of the biggest distractions can be our phones. There's exhaustion.
Yep.
There's the worst, the autopilot thing. Listen, I was thinking about this actually the other day. If you put your relationship on autopilot, what you think is it's going to maintain what you have right now. The reality is what you have right now, you have because you've fueled it.
Right.
So if you put your marriage on autopilot, you're going to run out of fuel eventually, and the only inevitable thing that's going to happen is a crash.
That's
it.
right.
It doesn't stay the same. It just runs out of fuel until it crashes. So the autopilot idea does not work. It leads to the roommate syndrome, and no one wants to be a roommate with someone they're supposed to be intimate partners with.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they're not supposed to go hand in hand.
It just won't last. Like you said, it's going to nosedive at some point. And so going back to choosing one another, like you chose this person, right? When you said I do, you said I do to this person. And so instead of fighting against each other in the area of romance, fight for each other. Like go out of your way to be with this person or to do those things that matter most to them, to hearing them out, to listening to their needs, to meeting their realistic expectations, so that you can have longevity in your marriage.
Right.
That's so important.
And I think it's important when we're talking about needs, not every person is the same. So
That's
not
right.
all women are in the same box. Not all men are in the same box. And it's just you've got to learn your spouse.
That's right.
That's why the movies are just a lie. Your spouse might not like any of those things. Learn your spouse. You married that one.
Yeah.
You said yes to that one. You said I do to that one. And so what you're supposed to do is forsake all the romantic movies
Yeah.
for learning your spouse. The romantic
right.
movies are fine, but learn them.
Yeah.
Learn what they like. Learn how you can serve them, how you can just stir up, and be consistent and committed to seeing that chemistry still just
And
alive
I think
and well.
that's why we're here after 26 years, to be honest, because we really have had a heart for each other and listening to each other and in all the areas, really.
Yeah.
But then also it takes humility and it takes working together as a team. And I think that's why we're here 26 years later, happily married, to be honest.
Yeah.
Most marriages don't explode. They slowly disconnect.
Yep.
And so
Then we're here to help that. We don't
Yeah.
want to see that. We don't want. We decided years ago we didn't want that for ourselves, and we don't want that for everyone else. That's why this podcast exists.
yes.
That's why we take the time. We don't have any sponsors right now.
No.
If you're out there, sponsors, here we are, Late Night Conversations. But we do this because we love each other
Yeah.
and we love helping people in this area.